Let's go on and get started then. Thanks for joining me. My name is Jonathan Hughes, and I am the Associate Director of College Planning and Education at MEFA. And since today is May 29th and thus 5/29, it is 5/29 day. So this sort of caps our week-long savings week, our week-long stretch of, let's say, of savings events. And this is specifically, now normally I do a college savings presentation that's a little more broad and sort of gives a broader view of the landscape. Some of that is still here, but we're going to specifically focus in on 529 college savings accounts. So as you may have heard me say before, or maybe it was said before you joined, they should run about a half an hour. If you have questions, just submit them and I will be glad to answer them afterwards, just by registering or attending for this webinar. If you have to leave, as long as you've registered, we're going to send you the PowerPoint and a recording of the presentation shortly after today. So having said that, I'd like to start, as I always do, with a discussion at a high level about who MEFA is. MEFA is the Massachusetts Educational Financing Authority, and we're a not-for-profit quasi-state organization. We were created back in 1982 and have a public service mission to help Massachusetts families to plan, save, and pay for college, and we do that in a variety of ways. So we have a robust website, mefa.org. We handle two savings programs with Massachusetts 529 plan, which obviously we'll talk about today, which is the U.Fund, the Massachusetts prepaid tuition program, the U-Plan, which is not going to be part of this, although if you have questions, you can contact us and we can discuss that plan as well. We offer low-cost fixed interest rate loans, and we do a lot of outreach in the community throughout the state and throughout the year on topics as varied as saving for college, college admissions, college financing. One thing I would say is that we have email curriculum where you can sign up for MEFA emails, and based on the age of your child, we'll send you 1 or 2 emails a month with information that is going to be relevant to you, tips that may make sense to you, little notices about things that are coming up, events that you might want to check out or participate in, tools. We have a lot of tools on our website that, among other things, can tell you how much, help you determine how much you want to be saving for college. So I know it's a question that a lot of people have, how much they need to put away every month, and that's something that we can help you with, although there's a lot of variables there. But that tool can help you sort of make sense of all those things. So basically, this is all to say that if you have questions about anything that's said here afterwards, you can always contact MEFA either by the phone, by email. We'll have that information at the end, all of our guidance, and we have a bench of college planning experts. All that guidance is free. So that's who MEFA is. Now today what we're going to talk about we're going to start off with some myths about saving. So what are some of the things that keep people from saving, and it really shouldn't, these pernicious ideas that people have that aren't necessarily true about saving. So we'll talk about those and debunk some of those myths, talk broadly about why you should save for college, and then get into the U-Fund, which is the 529 college investing plan. Talk about some tax benefits that are specific to Massachusetts and the U-Fund. And we'll go into a new program that was just launched January 1st of this year called the BabyStep savings plan. And we'll talk about, maybe you've heard about that. We'll talk about what that is and then lay out some next steps that you can take. So as I said, if questions about anything, let me know. If there's questions about anything I've said or questions about anything that I haven't said that you have questions about anyways, you can definitely reach out to us either through this format or afterwards. Now, this is right up front because it is probably the most important slide in all of the savings curriculum that we offer. So myths that we've heard about saving for college. My savings will hurt my financial aid. So the truth is that income is the biggest factor in determining financial aid eligibility and not your savings. Your savings will help you when it comes time to pay for college. So this is something I cannot stress enough. I've had arguments about this with people in my life that they shouldn't save, because if they save, $5,000, the college is going to look at that and say, oh, I was going to give you this $5,000 grant, but I see that you have $5,000 saved, so I don't need to do that. And it doesn't work out that way. There's two basic ways of awarding financial aid: merit-based financial aid, which are things like academic scholarships and athletic scholarships, and finances don't have anything to do with how merit financial aid is awarded. Most financial aid on a yearly basis is granted not on merit, but on financial need, right? So this is where they are looking for your income. They're looking for your assets. So college savings would be included in that. They are looking for how many people live in your household, how many college students you're going to have in the upcoming year. You're going to need to put all that information on your federal financial aid forms and probably your college financial aid forms as well. So when they're looking at all that information, and they come out with a number of what they think that you can pay for college for a year, your savings actually is a very, very small slice of what goes into that overall formula. Most of it is based on what you make and not what you have saved. So your savings will not hurt your financial aid. It's not worth, the other myth that we hear all the time is it's not worth saving for college if I can't save the entire cost. Now, I know this as well as anybody. I have a young child, and when he was born, my colleague thought it would be a fun idea if we looked and saw how much college would be for Malcolm when he got to be 18 years old. And I remember that figure and seeing that what a 4-year public college or university in Massachusetts was projected to cost in 2031 or whatever the year is. And I had the same reaction that anybody would have, which is I saw that figure and thought, oh, there's no way I can save that. But I know that there is financial aid available. I'm probably not going to have to pay that full amount or be asked to pay that full amount. Financial aid is available. It's going to eat into some of that cost. And the fact is, even if you can't save for the rest of the cost after financial aid has been granted, everything that you save blunts what you borrow, right? So after your financial aid, there's really only 3 ways that you can pay for college, which is past income, meaning your savings; present income, what you're earning at the time and able to pay directly towards the college when your child is in college; and then future income, which is borrowing. Now, many families end up borrowing to finance for college, and savings, even a little bit, can help blunt that cost. Every dollar saved is a dollar you don't have to borrow and a dollar you don't have to pay interest on and repayments over 10 or 12 or 15 years. So savings does help. As it says, your college savings will help you. It'll give you more education options. It'll allow you to look at maybe colleges that have different types of programs, different price tags. If you are interested in special programs like study abroad, you can use college savings to help you pay for those things. Really, the key thing for me is that it does reduce or eliminate the need to borrow loans. And it has, as we've already said, a minimum impact on financial aid eligibility. One thing that we didn't talk about is that there is a message that gets sent to a child through saving for college. And studies have shown that if a child knows that money is being put aside for him or for her to go to college, then that makes them much more likely to actually attend and graduate college. And it can help in the interim with things like academic achievement, school attendance, and other socio-emotional development as well. So your college savings will help you. Now, as far as the 529 plans are concerned, 529 plans have become possibly the most well-known, well-understood sort of the vehicle of choice for college savings. And I'm always quick to say that any way that you can save for college is a good way and is better than not saving at all. But the 529 plan is one of those things that has specific benefits when used for college. And how it works generally is you put in money to this plan. Now, each state has their own 529 plan, and in Massachusetts, it's the U.Fund. Fidelity handles the investments and manages the customer's accounts for the U.Fund. So how this works is you would set up an account with an owner who is in control of the account and a beneficiary who is a student. This is the person that you're saving for. You would put money in the account, and then that money is invested. And again, for the U.Fund, it's invested by Fidelity. It grows in the market with no taxes. So as the investment grows and starts to take on more value, there's no taxes being taken out. And when you go to use those funds, as long as you use them for a qualified educational expense, you pay no taxes on the earnings. So what's a qualified educational expense? Well, it's tuition, fees, room and board, books and supplies, and equipment. So it's a lot of expenses that are covered. And it doesn't have to be a specific college either. If you have the Massachusetts 529 plan, it doesn't mean you have to use it at a school in Massachusetts. It can be used at any accredited college or university in the country, and actually many foreign institutions as well. If a foreign college is able to take U.S. federal funds, you can use your 529 plan there and still retain the tax benefit. Actually, it doesn't even need to be a college that you use the plan for. It can be any accredited school, so career training, vocational, trade, things like that. And also, there's been an expansion recently of 529 usage to include K through 12 expenses, apprenticeship training, and repaying student loans. So there's a lot that it can be used for. The combined account maximum is $400,000. That means your accounts for a beneficiary, one beneficiary. So if I have a 529 plan for my son, and my wife, my mother has one for my son, those two accounts together cannot exceed $400,000. So if you have that problem, it's not a bad problem to have. There's no annual account maintenance fee or minimum investment, so you can open an account. There's no minimum to get started. And there are multiple investment options. So, there are different options that you can choose for investment. Fidelity would really be able to help you with that. Fidelity is available 24 hours a day. I say this because I know I am the owner of 2 U.Fund accounts, and the first time I opened one was for my nephew, and I opened it and called up Fidelity at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and they were able to counsel me in my investment options and walk me through everything. So I was very glad to be able to report as a customer that they are a great resource and always available to help. So investment options, you do need to pick an investment option. Fidelity is able to counsel you through that process if you don't know what you might want in terms of investment. And there's the information to get in touch with Fidelity, which is fidelity.com/U-Fund, or you can call 1-800-544-2776. I mentioned this actually, but this is a new development this year. There was an act signed into law that expanded the uses of 529. So initially it was only for college, but due to this new law, the uses have been expanded to include expenses related to private and public K through 12 education. So you can use up to $10,000 for these items. There's no dollar amount limited to use it for college, but if you're using it for one of these expenses, you can use it up to $10,000 for K through 12, expenses related to apprenticeships, and to repay student loans. Now, not only do you get the federal tax benefit of having the funds grow tax deferred and be able to be used without taxes, but in Massachusetts, you can claim a tax deduction, an income tax deduction for your contributions to a U-Fund. If you're a Massachusetts resident and you pay Massachusetts state taxes and you contribute to the U-Fund, you can deduct up to $2,000 of your contributions for married joint filers, or up to $1,000 for individual filers. And those limits are per filer, not per account. So if you have 3 different accounts for your 3 different kids and you're giving, $2,000 each, you're not able to deduct 2,000, 2,000, and 2,000 for a total of 6,000. But your limit as a filer is $2,000 across the board. But it's a great incentive for people to open up a 529. Excuse me, I'm just having a little bit of difficulty here. Okay. Now the BabyStep savings plan. This is a new program set up by the Treasury, State Treasurer Deborah Goldberg, and it sets aside $50 for every child born in Massachusetts or adopted on or after the year on or after the day January 1st, 2020. Any child who's a Massachusetts resident and was born or adopted on or after that date is eligible to receive a $50 seed deposit from the state treasurer's office. So they have 1 year to claim that. I'm going to ask for your patience just for one moment. I think I need to address something technically. Thanks for your patience. Okay, so the BabyStep savings plan, as I was saying, seeds $50 to every child born or adopted in Massachusetts beginning January 1st, 2020. If you are eligible for this, you may have checked a box at the hospital when filling out information for the birth certificate or social security number that says, hey, yes, I want to take advantage of this. If you did, you'll be receiving emails either from us or from from MEFA and from OEE to let you know that you still have this benefit that you can go on and claim. And what you need to do at that point is actually go to fidelity.com and fill out the 529 U-Fund application. The system will be able to tell if you are eligible given the date of birth of the child and the state of residence, and the Treasury at that point will put you on a list to receive the $50 seed, and it would take about 30 to 60 days after that point, and your account will be funded. You can also choose to contribute to that account afterwards, and I hope that you do. You can choose to either set up a one-time electronic payment into the account or a automatic withdrawal every month. But you're not required to do that, but you can. Or you can send in checks. There are lots of different ways that you can actually contribute to the account, which is what we're going to talk about right here. So strategies for saving. You want to save as early as possible. So, it's never too late and it's never too early to start saving, but of course, it's sort of like retirement where saving early helps to use time to your advantage. You can start with a goal in mind, and we have a tool on MEFA.org that helps you to do that. It's a college planning tool where you can sort of create an account and take a look and see what certain colleges may cost by the time your child is ready to go there, and how much financial aid you're likely to receive, although that's always a bit of a guess. And then it's going to give you the difference between the two. So you can sort of have a goal that you say, okay, I want to save this amount. Taking advantage of unexpected funds like tax returns is a great thing to do. This slide on the left here is a gifting page. And so what this is Fidelity has made it possible for people to set up a gifting page for their child. So you see here, you can decorate this with a picture of the child, says age 2 years old. You put the age, you put the date that they're entering college and what they want to be when they grow up. It's very precocious of a 2-year-old to already know that they already want to be a doctor, which is interesting. But so you can set that up, and then you can send this link out to family and friends, and they can gift money directly into the account. So milestones, birthdays, first communions, bar mitzvahs, whatever it is, You can send this link out to family and friends, and they can contribute on your child's behalf to their 529 plans. I think this is a really, really important thing. I always talk about, whenever I saw my aunt, she would always give me $25 for my son's U.Fund account, and it was very easy to go and just take a picture of the check with the cell phone and deposit it mobily into his account. So there's lots of ways that you can easily fund a U.Fund account. So getting the word out is definitely key. Using automatic transfers, I mean, the evidence shows, when we see it anecdotally, that people who use automatic transfers, that is, having money automatically deducted from an account of theirs into a U.Fund, end up saving more than people who just sort of periodically do that. And again, a story from my life, I, of course, with my U.Fund, set it up after my son was born, and was saving for about 8 or 9 months before I even knew I was saving, because my wife had set up a automatic transfer out of my account right into the U.Fund, and I didn't know because I never saw it. So definitely can see how beneficial that is for building savings. The last one is involving your child in the process. Just really briefly, you know, teaching kids to save. I always think that this is really important. It seems hard to do sometimes, but I remember having a conversation with a director of financial aid at a college, and she was telling me that she saved her daughter, told her daughter to save half of everything she got. So if she ever got money for a birthday or for first communion, she would save half of it. You know, that principle of paying yourself first. And it went into the college fund. And not only is that a great way to build the college savings, but it's a great habit to instill in someone. And plus, kids like to see, you know, having $1,000 in an account or having $500 in an account. It's a lot of money, especially to a child, and they like to see that going up. This is something that a woman I work with said that her son loves to see her U.Fund balance go up. So you can involve them in the process as well. Why can't I move this slide here? Okay. Now, as far as next steps are concerned, start or continue saving. Something that we said earlier today on a different 529-day event is that oftentimes the hardest thing to do is to start saving. I think sometimes because once you start to save, it's really a concern. Like, it's real, and you have to start dealing with this. At least that's what people think. Really, if you just open an account, even with a very, very small amount of money, it's a huge, huge first step. And so it's much easier to continue or to even increase your saving once you already have taken that first step. Talking to your child about college, just keep that thought in a child's mind, whether it's college or whether it's career, whatever it is that they're want to do when they grow up. Keep them thinking about it, and keep them sort of keep their options open. You can look into different subjects together and sort of really keep their interest in whatever it is that interests them now. So you can use online tools to learn more about college costs. We have a lot of those at MEFA.org. You can sign up for our webinars at mefa.org/events and join our email community. So this on the right here is a example of a MEFA email that you may get. As I said before, they're all tailored to the age of the child. So if you have a very young child, they're all going to be about college savings. If you have a high schooler, they're going to be about savings, but then that's to be about what you want to do for college admissions and taking the SATs and things like that. You can connect with us on social media. We have a big social media presence, of course, on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and a lot of videos on YouTube on all subjects related to financing college. So that's our presentation for today. If you have any questions, I'm going to go and take a look at those now. But here's our information, 1-800-449-MEFA. We're free to help you with any questions that you may have, and college planning at mefa.org. So please reach out if you have questions.